game. And in a season that has been very up and down for the Beavers, they seem to have it all figured out a week ago, playing their best all-around game in 2010 with a 35-7 thrashing of Cal. Oregon State tried to put it together 2 weeks in a row down in SoCal. OSU and the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And the Beavs had beaten the Bruins 2 years in a row. And UCLA, though, got on the board first. Richard Breho, in at quarterback, sneaks in for his second rushing TD of the season as he goes around the right side. 7-0 Bruins on top. Later in the first, the Beavers would pull even. Ryan Katz with nice little move to get some room and then finds the tank. Joe Halahouni, 28-yard score, ties the game at 7. We go to the second quarter after we take one more look at Halahouni's great catch. And this kind of sums up the day for Jacquizz Rodgers. Running over the right side, jumps over the defender and gets lit up by Dietrich Riley, the freshman, all up in Quizz's junk. Pops off his helmet, but Quizz would be okay. Third quarter, the weapon we saw a lot of against Cal, Marcus Wheaton on the end around, 22 yards, just gets inside the pylon. The Beavers into the lead at 14-7. Look like they have stabilized things, but late in the third, the Bruins would even it up. Jonathan Franklin bruising his way into the end zone. 1 yard score, make it 14 all, and into the fourth we go. 3 minutes to play in the game. Still tied, and Kai Forbath looking to give UCLA the lead, but the 46-yarder is wide left. His second miss of the day. The Beavers were pumped, but then they went 3 and out on offense. Skip ahead, 4 seconds left. UCLA on the 46, Breho to Randall Carroll. He eventually gets out of bounds. That took longer than 4 seconds, didn't it? But yeah. The clock showed no time left, but Rick Neuheisel made a case for at least a second to be put back on the clock. It was under review. The officials agreed. That gives Forbath a chance at redemption. And what do you think happens from 51 yards out with no time left? This one probably would have been good from 60. UCLA breaks the hearts of the Beavers with the last second field goal, 17-14. The Bruins snap the 3-game losing streak. Now sitting at 4-4. Oregon State really needs to take care of business at home.
It really sets them back in their quest to make a 5th straight bowl game after this week with Washington State. It's home with USC, at Stanford, then home again in the Civil War. Coming off their best defensive performance of the season against California, the Beavers reverted back to some of their old and bad habits against the Bruins as Richard Breho really had an impact running the football. On their first scoring drive, he got out of trouble and ran for a 21-yard gain on 3rd and 3. UCLA was 8 of 17 converting on 3rd down. Later in that drive, Breho picked up another first down with an 11-yard carry down to the Oregon State 19. He then capped off the drive with that 7-yard score. In the third, the Bruins' next scoring drive, Breho showing off that elusiveness again, a 9-yard carry to set up a 2nd and short. We saw some bad tackling again for the Beavers pretty much all night long. Here, another 3rd down. He avoids the pressure, little flip there to Corey Harkey. Set up that score by Jonathan Franklin. The QB ran for 18 times, a career high 61 yards rushing in that pistol offense. And then on UCLA's game-winning drive, Breho did it with his arm too. Little short pass, long pass, and then, of course, the catch out there to Carroll. But they only gave up 127 yards passing. Figure that's usually a recipe for a win for the Beavers. But in that pistol offense, they don't throw a whole heck of a lot. But again, it's Breho's feet that really killed him, just like Andy Dalton did in the TCU game, Kellen Moore did in the Boise State game. 210 yards rushing for the Bruins as they had the ball 2/3 of that second half. Really killed any momentum the Beavers had, but they didn't have any momentum. And Mike Riley said afterward, it was really like pulling teeth all night long.
Yeah, on offense it was, and defensively, when you look at what the Bruins have done, I mean, they only threw the ball 9 times against Texas. They only threw it 19 times against Oregon State. I mean, honestly, if you know what they're going to do and you can't stop it, I mean, like Mike Riley said, it's like pulling teeth. It's also like pulling your hair out. There's nothing else you can do. So it's on down the stretch now with Washington State coming home for the Beavers. But with the win over Washington, the Ducks are now 9-0 for the first time in program history and are just 3 weeks from the BCS national title game, assuming they win out. Still to come on Inside. We'll go back to Autzen for more with Oregon, where it wasn't their best, but against Washington, it was more than good enough.
You know, they never really cut it down to any more than 2 scores. So, you know, we were confident and comfortable that we were going to be able to get our offense going, and we just had to find our rhythm.
Plus, the Cardinal and Cats battled down on the farm. The winner stayed in the race for the Roses. That and more when Inside the Pack rolls on. Another historical win for Oregon in defeating Washington 53-16. For the first time ever, the Ducks are now 9-0. While happy with the win, it was an effort that was below the standards that Oregon has set for itself this season.
We really weren't playing up to standards first 2 quarters. Our tempo wasn't good. I was having some mishaps, and other players are having mishaps. Sometimes you're going to have those games.
We know that we can't just show up and win games. We know that we have to work hard, and our week of preparation has to be great, and we just have to eliminate the mistakes that we did. We hurt ourselves this game in the beginning of it, so I wouldn't say it's a wake-up call for us.
That's what college football is all about, and when you make a mistake, can you bounce back? So, that's what it's about. I told our guys at halftime, and as screwed up as it was, I was excited to be in the position we were in to see how we could handle it, and I thought they handled it great.
We were still up by 12, going into halftime, and they never really cut it down to any more than 2 scores. So, we were confident and comfortable that we were going to be able to get our offense going, and we just had to find our rhythm.
So, guys, 3 more games for the Ducks, and I guess if there's a trap game laying out there for Oregon, Arizona's going to be tough, and the Civil War is going to be no easy task, but the trap game, it's got to be California. They play much better at home.
And they are playing better now, so it'll be a good test for them. It'll be a good test for Oregon on the road.
Yeah, Brock Manchin starting to feel good, Nick. He's, went to Pullman, got the start, got some reps in, and completed some balls.
Yeah, Cal's one of those teams, though, where they're not the upper echelon of the Pac-10 right now, and it's kind of a situation where are they good, are they bad? We kind of week in, week out, kind of like the Beavers, not really sure exactly what they are, but certainly I think it's been a while for the Ducks to win down there in Berkeley, but this week there's might be the time that they get one done.
Well, the Bears also lead the Pac-10 in sacks with 28, but Oregon gets the ball out so quickly in that offense. Tough to get to the quarterback most times.
It really is, and the way they block it really makes it tough on defenses.
All right, and remember, we've always got more content from the Ducks, Beavers, and the rest of the Pac-10 online at InsideThePac.com. The Beavers' loss to UCLA is disappointing on many levels, but for the first time in 3 seasons, Oregon State will not enter the Civil War with a shot at the Rose Bowl on the line. Still ahead on Inside the Pac. We'll go back to Pasadena, where 1 second changed an entire season for Oregon State.
I was shocked that he missed 2 to begin with. We knew coming in that he's one of the best kickers in the country, and if we give him too many chances, a great player is going to make a great play, and he did that.
Heartbreak in Pasadena again reared its ugly head in Oregon State's season Saturday night. A controversial finish left OSU with a bad taste in its collective mouth and fighting for its postseason life. With more from the Rose Bowl, here's Brian Elder.
Any hopes Oregon State might have had of returning to the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day were squashed by UCLA as the Bruins handed the Beavers their second Pac-10 defeat. The OSU offense sputtered to produce just 267 total yards off of 52 offensive plays. And the third down conversion struggles also reappeared, with OSU going just 4 of 11. And now the Beavs are left scrambling for wins over their final 4 games to even reach a bowl game, matchups that include USC, Stanford, and Oregon.
It's still a lot of season to be played, it hurts to lose like that, but we're gonna keep fighting.
Sometimes with the crowd noise and just the emotions of being on the road and in somebody else's house, but those are things that we're gonna look at tomorrow and be really upset about, because those plays give the team extra plays, and you give a good team with great athletes extra plays, they're gonna make you pay for that.
We're not gonna talk about any ramifications or look back at what might have been. We got to just get ready and play better and have some fun with it. This was like pulling teeth out there tonight.
The Beavers now head back to Reser Stadium, where they'll host the Washington State Cougars on Saturday, in a game where you figure OSU should be able to win its 5th game of the year, getting them 1 step closer to bowl eligibility. At the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, I'm Brian Elder for Inside the Pac.
All right, thanks, Brian. Now the Beavers return home to Reser for 3 of their final 4 games, and really every game is a must-win, and it starts this week with Washington State.
Well, this is one where they have no chance to have a misstep. You've got to get this one done if you want to make a bowl game for 5 years in a row, and then you have to get one after that too. You're looking at home with SC, at Stanford, home with Oregon. Where do you get that, and how do you have your defense stop any of those big teams?
Yeah, it's really the 3 best teams in the conference when you look at it, along with Arizona, going down the home stretch of their season. Well, we are just about to wrap up this edition of Inside the Pac, but when we return, our shining stars of the weekend, Saturday Scholars coming up.